We close out the show with a special feature on Big Iron's Share Your Legacy program. The legacies of America's rural communities deserve to be memorialized and shared with great joy. And Big Iron has traveled the country doing just that. Let's take a look at some of these special stories that reveal a beautiful tradition of hard work, perseverance, and love. Big Iron Auctions is proud to share your legacy.
Homesteading was when the pioneers that came west had an opportunity to homestead, and most of them could homestead 80 acres. But since my great-grandfather was in the Civil War, all Civil War veterans were allowed to homestead 160 acres. Well, my great-grandfather was in the Civil War, and he was in Philadelphia. He was called to duty at Old Independence Hall when Abraham Lincoln was assassinated, and he stood guard duty over the front of the casket for 12 hours controlling the crowds.
Oh, okay. You gotta smile. See, that's the one. She's the star of the show. Yeah, I love cows. Cows, if you ask me my favorite animal, I was always the dork. It was like cows. And people are like, that's so lame. I'm like, I know. I love dairy cows. I do enjoy cow puns, people that dress like cows, things that have cow print on them. Big fan of all of it. So we're sitting here at my grandma's house just outside of Wahoo, Nebraska. My family, the Konetskis, originally settled here in 1877. So
we head to Lexington, Illinois this week to meet a farm family that owes everything to faith and a dad who flew over 100 combat missions during World War II.
Faith was very important. I grew up going to church before I was even born because my folks were going to church and still go to the same church that they took me to when I was growing up. My dad's faith, he said, was good, but it became really strong when he was in World War II. He was a pilot, and he flew over 100 combat missions. And he said it wasn't any doings of his, but only by the grace of God that he came back. So he always, said he didn't know anybody could farm and not have faith because we don't have control over much of anything, the weather or the markets or anything else. So he loved the Lord and he loved the land, and he passed that on to me.
As Scott Glenn once said, rodeo riders are the last of the true chivalrous group of people. It's a place where the competition is really pure. If that's true, then the most pure place in America 1 week in September every year is Fort Madison, Iowa.
Rodeo is a true American sport, and we have everything. Nashville entertainment, the best cowboys in the world, one of the best stock contractors in the world with the best animals in the world, and it all comes together one weekend here in a great package to entertain anyone and everyone.
This week we travel to the Texas Panhandle and to the town of Sunray, where the Cartwright family has proudly been farming and ranching for over 100 years.
My granddad came here, bought his first land in 1919, and started farming then. His wife, my grandmother, they had land in this area as well.
Throughout the Share Your Legacy series, we've discovered some amazing equipment. We recently visited one of the largest collections to date. We caught up with Jim Meinhardt of Wamego, Kansas.
Well, we started in 1967, farm equipment business. We represented Alice Chalmers and New Holland Equipment. Started with a 50 by 100 building in Wamego and 3 employees, and it is now called Can Equip, 14 dealerships across Kansas and Nebraska. Well, to start with, I want to preserve the history, and this is one way of doing it.
This week, Share Your Legacy is in Arapahoe, Wyoming, where a young man took a chance in the 1940s to follow his dream of farming.
My dad came here from Mitchell, Nebraska in 1945. He found a guy down the road and shared a house with him till he found some place to go. When he drove by here, there was a seismograph truck sitting out in the middle of a weed field, making a test hole. He walked over and dropped a rock in it, and there was water in it. So he found the guy that owned it and rented it.
Started with nothing. I mean, literally drove by. He bought a 1948 Chevy truck before he had a car or a pickup to start his farming operation out here. The river bridge you guys crossed on the way down here was not there. They had to drive across the river.
Well, when I was growing up, I started at an age where I didn't know really what was going on. It was all hearsay. And I was just with Dad all the time. That's all I knew.
Jackie, was that amazing?
Yes, it was.
2023 was such an exciting year for Big Iron and for the Share Your Legacy series. I wish you could have seen some of the shows that we got to see that you didn't get to see, but we only had so much time. Looking forward to working with you all in 2024. Happy holidays, everybody.
Thanks again for such a great year. For all of our employees, our buyers, our sellers, everybody in the community that we live and work within, we really appreciate the impact that you made at Big Iron over this past year. As we look to 2024, we have so many exciting things coming down the pike. We're really excited to share with you a lot of new things that will be available on the Big Iron platform and look forward to continuing to do business with you in this next year. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Thank you to Big Iron Auctions for joining us on our final show of 2023. This Week in Agribusiness is excited to see you all in the new year. This Week in Agribusiness is brought to you by Case IH. This Week in Agribusiness is produced by Omax Communications in association with 22 Creative Group. We invite you to visit us online at agbizweek.com.